Watch these shocking moments as security cameras capture real crimes unfolding. Every case reveals the unthinkable reality of criminals' daring and often reckless actions, from audacious heists to clumsy burglars. Join us as we dive into a list of 30 real crimes that showcase the raw force of offenders. Some got caught red-handed, and others got away just to be recognized through security camera footage. Make sure to expect every outcome and take them as they come. Number 1. Bonnie and Clyde. The guy that you see running here has attempted to rob a store in Canada alongside his partner. After realizing they were about to be arrested, he tried to escape through the back. But as he learned that the doors were locked, he tried once again to push through the entrance and past the cop who was already at the scene. He then gets grabbed by the cop, who is assisted by another man who was around. The woman, however, had another idea. She used a ladder to climb into the ceiling and tried to crawl her way to freedom. While the cops are finishing up with the dude, the lady ends up falling through the ceiling and on her back, destroying another shelf before she reasonably surrenders to the cop that we see approaching her. Number 2. Shoplifters' escape ends in collision. These folks were probably having a regular day at work when a camera caught a moment when these fellas smashed their vehicle right through the front door. They seem to have planned everything well, since they are wearing helmets to hide their faces. And as soon as the store was breached, they went at it and, using hammers, smashed all the glass, keeping the valuables safe. After the two broke everything out of their way, the third one joined to pick up the jewelry left behind. And since one of the workers was brave enough to attempt to stop them, they broke another glass door through which they escaped, leaving their car behind. Number 4. Bystander fights back against robbers. These two robbers have timed their approach almost perfectly. As soon as they saw this guy parked, they drove behind him, blocked his exit, and attacked him straight away. After throwing him to the ground, they grab the valuables that he has dropped and try to escape, but the man manages to throw quite strong 2 punches through the window, probably at the guy's face. Everything was caught on camera, including their license plate. Number 5. Bold ATM theft caught on video. Modesty isn't one of the characteristics that these masked thieves may be known for. They apparently felt brave enough to attempt to steal a whole ATM. One of them first tried to pry it open with a crowbar, and they seem to have actually planned this quite well. The other one joins him quickly and takes out the hooks which are to be used to pull apart the protective mechanism of the machine and drag it away with all the money. After yanking it quite strongly, apparently, they manage to break it apart, and we see that they have actually gotten the ATM open and managed to steal quite a few boxes of cash that were hidden within. Number 6. Elaborate street mugging ruse revealed. Watch as this frightening and meticulously planned ruse unfolds before your eyes. The folks that are acting as if they're chasing a man at first pretend that they are trying to catch a robber, but actually, their mark is the guy in the blue shirt standing at the corner who they attack from the back, and after one of them grabs hold of his neck, the others, of whom there's 5, grab his hands and go through his pockets, stealing anything that's valuable. The man manages to throw away his phone, trying to buy some time, but this does him no good, and he ends up being robbed in front of everyone. Number 7. Home invasion foiled by cameras. The owner of this luxurious home was smart enough to install security cameras in the place, which is why we are able to witness how this group of robbers managed to break in. At first, we see them sneaking up and masking their faces before they check through the see-through door to see if there's anybody behind that could cause trouble. Seeing as nobody's home, they crack one of the glass doors and then slowly, bit by bit, crush it away, making enough room for them to sneak through. Once they're in, they're quick to grab anything that may be valuable before they escape through the same entrance they have created for themselves. Number 8. Fast and furious car thefts. These car thieves are very quick on their feet since they manage to steal multiple vehicles in essentially under a minute. The first thing that they do is replace the license plates to make it more challenging for cops to recognize these cars. They work simultaneously, each one grabbing a different car before they all very effectively drive away with them, one after another. Number 10. The camera put a stop to a robbery. Now here's something that you may not see too often. These folks have attempted to rob a place in London, and from the start, the camera recording the driveway has actually caught their license plates. We see that there are 4 of them, and even though they appear to have some sort of a plan, that might not be the case. They carry the tools and approach the front door of what clearly seems like a luxurious household, but they still seem to be ignorant of the doorbell camera that keeps recording them as they gather courage and look for a way in. Once they have checked the place around and considered potential entry points, we see that they have taken just enough time for the people inside to be alerted and sprung into action. These fellas seem to be better at thinking than acting, since as soon as the homeowners show signs of presence, they run back to their vehicle and escape. Number 11. Pharmacy thieves caught on camera. One would think that working in a pharmacy may be a relatively safe job. Well, after seeing how these robbers stormed the place, we may change our minds. They pushed the worker into the corner as they got to whatever it was they were looking for in the pharmacy. Luckily, a security camera has caught them. Number 12. Clumsy burglars botch heist. These robbers' failure was caught by a camera. Their idea was to smash the vehicle into the door of a shop that was their target. However, the thief behind the wheel doesn't seem to be a good driver and lacks coordination when driving in reverse, relying on mirrors. He fails multiple times to hit the door and actually just damages his own car by hitting the wall next to it. Number 13. Shameless shoplifters. Shoplifters have definitely evolved a lot over time. They now know to go for the most expensive stuff that they can carry out of the store. Look at this team of shoplifters who are pretending that they're thinking of purchasing an expensive bottle, when instead the guy isn't looking for the perfect one, but just grabbing the most expensive drinks he can get his hands on and giving it to the 2 women who hide it underneath their clothes and in their bags. They manage to steal more than 4 bottles before the worker realizes something suspicious is going on, and after checking, he goes back to call for help. The shoplifters, however, prove to be persistent. They are unbothered by being caught and shamelessly keep stealing. Number 14. You stole what? Now these guys have chosen an interesting target. Their outfits and hairstyles already hint to us that they have exquisite taste. Considering that what they have stolen is actually a number of branded skateboards, we can clearly see they are following their interests and their passion. However, it seems that these may lead them to jail. Number 15. Bold shoplifting attempt foiled. The woman that you see here is already known as a shoplifter, but she doesn't seem to want to give up on her trade. Everything that she's piling up in her cart, as you may assume, she isn't planning to pay for, especially since we could ask who would go to buy more than 1 piece of the exact same clothing. For instance, which person would go on to buy 4 or 5 of the same jackets? Number 16. Brazen BMW Heist caught on tape. The security camera in a dealership parking lot has managed to catch these folks who broke a window, entered, and stole 3 BMWs. In just a matter of seconds, they actually smashed through the front door with these cars and managed to escape. The cops hope the footage we are looking at will provide clues leading to their arrest. Number 17. When the spike trap fails. Those who have decided to devote themselves to crime have certainly found various ways to battle traps that are usually put in place to actually stop them. Look what these dudes have resorted to escape one such barrier. They aligned 2 ramps, which enabled them to escape with multiple vehicles without letting the spikes below blow out their tires. Number 18. Aggression with no purpose. The woman that you see sitting in the back of the public transportation is clearly minding her own business, But this guy who walks in has other plans for her. He walks back in and starts throwing punches immediately. He harassed the woman, throwing very heavy punches, and even though she tried to protect herself, she couldn't do much about this brute. Number 19. Not getting it today. This shoplifter was out of luck, which he found out as soon as he exited the store. What waited for him was a security guard who was clearly ready to do his job properly. Even after throwing a serious fight, he made sure not to harm the shoplifter. After some struggle, the security guard managed to snatch away things that this fella tried to steal. Being a proper scary person, he manages to chase this thief away. Number 20. Chilling abduction caught on camera. A security camera at a gas station caught a very scary moment where a woman tried to escape her pursuer, but since she failed to do so, he was caught on the footage as he grabbed her, picked her up, and carried her away, even though she was screaming and kicking for help. Luckily, the dude was quickly identified based on his tattoos, which we were able to see through the security footage. Number 21. Hilarious shoplifting fail. This must be one of the most hilarious thieves that were caught on camera. The dude who has grabbed some goods and actually even activated an alarm, turning everyone's attention toward him, and even a few phone cameras is trying here to put everything in the improvised bag. Since he failed to do so, however, he left with only what he could grab, and the rest of the stuff was left behind, alongside the picture of his face. Number 22. Where did you come from? These two guys were having a leisurely walk down the street when from the other side of it, two robbers appeared, simultaneously attacking both of the dudes. Since they caught them off guard, one of them immediately ended up lying on the ground. After quickly going through their pockets and grabbing anything they thought was valuable, they escaped, but ended up being chased by officers who were nearby and managed to arrest them just moments later. Number 23. Tug of war for stolen purse. Sometimes when we see how stubborn and evil people can be when they're bent on robbing someone, we ask ourselves, what in the love of God is pushing you so far? This fella caught the exact moment as the woman was trying to enter the building. He grabbed her purse, but the woman wasn't ready to let go of her goods, and even a neighbor joined the struggle, running out to help the poor lady who was dragged across the pavement. Number 24. Kayaker caught live. Now here is something very unusual that happened to a guy while he was recording a Facebook Live. Whatever his story was, we can clearly see that he was very hyped up about it and had a lot to say. At one point, he heard something was happening outside and turned to see what it was. Unfortunately for him, he at first turned to the wrong side. As soon as he does it, this carjacker gets in, starts the car, and drives away. The laughable thing is that it even took him a moment before he realized that he was caught on Facebook Live and that he was not getting away with the vehicle. After a few turns, he caught a glimpse of the camera as he was driving and removed it. Number 25. Attitude that will get you in trouble. This cop was called after a very unpleasant customer was harassing a clerk. He purchased cigarettes and refused to give her any form of ID, which she warned him was necessary.
Rush, I asked him before he even got the cigarettes if he had his ID. He told me yes. Grabbed the cigarettes, ringed them up, put them right here. He snatched them, threw his change down on the counter.
The guy, however, decided to be very rude about it, and after cursing at her, he actually flicked a cigarette towards the worker.
You got an ID?
I don't have an ID.
What is your name?
What do you mean, what is my name? Why are you giving me my name?
I'm trying to ask you who you are. Obviously, it says Deputy Jones.
Deputy Jones.
Okay, so what is your name?
Deputy Smith.
He then had the guts to just exit the store and sit right in front of it, smoking the same exact cigarettes that he had just purchased, even though we could see there was a gas station right behind him.
A state-issued ID card.
Okay.
So,
What's the problem?
did you want to buy cigarettes?
I did buy cigarettes.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
Well, you took them, you paid.
Still, the cop approaches this dude politely and tries to explain to him that such behavior isn't acceptable, but the dude seems to think he's beyond any rules and actually keeps being rude, even in the cop's face.
They're different, they're a controlled item.
Okay, but I didn't
I
grab
don't care.
them myself. I did not grab them myself. She put them on the counter, I handed her the money. I walked out of the
What is your
store.
name?
Don't worry about my name.
He goes so far as to actually start a fight with the clerk at whom he threw the cigarette.
And you threw one at me and
I
asked me
threw
if
it on the ground right there, whatever.
By now, we realize this isn't the attitude of someone who's trying his best to be a decent and polite person. He even keeps pointing the finger at the cop's face, who still manages to stay calm and proceeds to do his job the best way possible, which, as you will soon see, will put this guy where he belongs.
I thought she wanted, so I picked it back up. I didn't litter. It wasn't.
After realizing that there's no talking to this guy, the cop tells the driver to take him away from this place and gets back to the clerk to gain useful information that can lead to his arrest. The woman tells him that the guy threw a lit cigarette at her hair, and since this is a very dangerous thing to do, here's how things went from there on out. The cops went to his place and arrested him. Since he wasn't going to go peacefully, he even earned himself a charge of resisting arrest. Have fun in jail, rude sir. Number 26, burglars outsmart themselves. Now these guys are a real deal. At first, one of them pries open the gate just enough for him to squeeze through and open it entirely so that the rest of the crew can enter with the car. Once they are in, they go about their business immediately. But even though they seem to be pros, they clearly weren't aware there's a security camera capturing all of their faces. One of them even carries a huge hammer, which we are sure they weren't going to use for any good. After they managed to break into the place, they grabbed the most valuable things they could find, which turned out to be computers. And after stuffing everything in the trunk, they escape. Number 27. The camera got you in trouble. The next video will teach us how good of an idea it is to hide your camera in plain sight. These folks have done just that, and that is why we have actually caught on tape even the faces of 2 burglars who tried to break into this house in the middle of the day. At first, one of them is trying to use a crowbar to pry open a window to what we presume is a kitchen, but since his strength didn't suffice, he goes out and grabs another fellow to aid him. However, even with 2 of them, this seemed to be a tough job, and it took them a while before they managed to break a window panel open. After doing so for a moment, they got scared and nearly escaped. But then the dude sealed his fate by jumping in and committing a crime after revealing his identity to the security camera. Number 28. Store robbery in broad daylight. Only a blind man couldn't recognize that the fellow who we see walking into this place has some ill intentions in his mind. As soon as he walks up to the counter, he takes out a weapon. The 2 workers clearly realize it isn't worth risking their lives to protect the store and just play along with it. After opening the register, the guy goes through it and picks it clean before leaving the store. Number 29. Barbershop robbery. If it wasn't a part of our list, you would probably think that the footage of the guy you see here is just that of another dude taking a walk down the street. But look what happens just moments later. This fellow doesn't seem to be worried about showing his face, considering that both the security camera on the street and in the barbershop he went to rob had caught him. Using a weapon to threaten the worker there, this guy grabs hold of everything that is valuable and escapes. Well, considering how clearly we could see his face, we bet he isn't getting far. Number 30. Unhurried chat in front of a camera. Now these guys have given some thought to what they will do and how they will manage to get into this place before robbing it. However, it seems they had no idea what they would find inside, considering that as soon as they got in, they had to hold a meeting and organize themselves better. As soon as the lights came up, we actually caught one of their faces. And they seem to be entirely unaware of the camera that's right there.
Boy, that big speaker is hectic. Well, I need that thing still.
They actually positioned themselves as if it was a podcast for a brief moment and discussed how to proceed and what to steal. Since their plan seemed to have 2 phases, 2 of them actually returned, and we caught their faces on camera as well. Well, Now that their identities have been captured by the security camera, we can feel at ease, even though they take their sweet time ravaging through the place. And there you have it, a gripping look at how criminals are caught in the act by ever-watchful security cameras. Whether it's a bold heist, a clumsy thief, or an unexpected hero, these moments remind us that justice is always on the lookout. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and remember, the camera is always watching. We hope you enjoyed the content that we prepared for you today. Thank you for watching.